Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to beautiful Watkins Glen International. We're joined today in the Watkins Glen International Media Center by Dale Earnhardt Jr., driver of the number 88 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet. We're also here with Doug Ducart, General Manager of Hendrick Motorsports. So we'll start first with you, Dale. Welcome, certainly, to being here. How does it feel to be back at the track, sir?
It's great to be back and to see everybody, and super nervous coming back, but just hadn't been to the track, and I miss my team and my teammates, and Amy's going on a trip for the weekend, so I was at the house by myself, so just was looking for some things to do. So figured maybe coming to the track wasn't a bad idea. I get to hang out with my guys a little bit, and just felt so weird not being there. So here we are.
All right, we'll open it up for questions from the media. We'll start with Claire B. Lang, and then we'll go over to Jim. Claire B., bringing a mic up for you.
Claire B.
And
Lang.
then over to Jerry Jordan.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. I have a question and a follow-up. Dale, are you thinking that doctors will eventually give you a go, no-go on racing, or give you a go? Or is it possible they won't be able to give you, with what they know about concussions for sure, clear directives, meaning that you'd have a big decision to make on your own for your long-term health?
I think my doctors have a good understanding of my history and what I've been through, and with their own personal knowledge that they have throughout their careers, to give me a clear understanding of when I'll be ready to go back and get in the race car. Our intentions are to get cleared and get back to racing, and we're just taking it one evaluation at a time. It's frustrating to have to do it that way, but that's the process. And we hope and expect that when we go back for the next evaluation that we're symptom free and can start to see a timeline develop. Until then, we're just taking it one evaluation at a time, and those are typically every 2 to 3 to 4 weeks.
And the follow-up, your fans want to know if all this has been emotionally tough for you, because you have seemed so strong through all of this.
I just want to get better. You put everything, nothing else really is a priority except for just getting the symptoms to clear up and get back to feeling like yourself. That's all that I'm thinking about. And it's the process isn't as fast as you would like it to be, but I talk to my doctor every other day, sometimes for, an hour or two, about the psychological side of it, because it can become very frustrating, and you don't have, obviously being a race car driver, we don't have a lot of patience to begin with. So this is it's a challenge, and but we've got some great doctors, and I really believe and trust what they're telling me, and I'm confident and positive that and they tell me without question that we're going to get back to normal, and it's just, I just have to do what they tell me. There's a lot of activities every day. There's about 2 to 3 hours worth of physical and mental therapy that I do each day. Not a lot of fun. Probably some of it, just trying to describe it, some of it's pretty mundane, but it really stresses your symptoms, and that's what they want. They want you to do things that really push your mind and bring out the symptoms. And so in the last evaluation, we sort of ramped up the therapy to make it a little more strenuous, and we'll continue to work, and I'll work every day and listen to my doctors, and hopefully continue to see progress.
All right, remember to state your name and affiliation. We'll go to Jim Utter, and then over to Jerry Jordan, and then back here in front to Nate Ryan.
Jim Utter, motorsport.com. Kind of following up a little bit on Claire's question. you've made it clear, and again, just a few minutes ago, that your intentions are to get cleared and go back to racing. I just wondered, since this process first started and has developed over the last several weeks, have you ever considered whether you should consider racing, or had that discussion between you and Amy, or even just with yourself?
No. My doctor thinks that, to get through the therapy and to get through the symptoms, you don't need to be adding stress to your life, and the stress will slow down the process. So going into those kind of conversations aren't even necessary at this particular point. The point right now is just to get healthy, just to get right. I'm not thinking about the what ifs, and I'm listening to my doctors. We went into this with the intentions of getting back into the car when we get cleared, and I think that that's a possibility, and so do my doctors. So I'm excited about that. Whenever that happens, that happens. It's frustrating that I've had to miss this many races. When we first went into the doctor's office, we never anticipated being out this long. But unfortunately, it's a slower process. They don't, there's no guidelines or rule book, or there's no consistent history over how long this stuff really takes to clear up. And so we're just having to be patient. But my doctors feel great about the opportunity that I will not only be healthy again, but they can actually make they can make my brain stronger to be able to withstand these common events. The event that I had at Michigan, which they've tied this concussion to, I shouldn't have had a concussion from. I should be able to get through events like that without having any issues. So they're not only working to get me healed up, but also working to make it to where I can compete and go through events like that without any concern.
All right, we'll go over to Jerry Jordan, and then to Nate, and then across over here to Lee Spencer.
Jerry Jordan. You've been very candid in your weekly updates on the podcast. Is there a fine line with what you can say there, and also how rewarding or how much does it help you personally to be able to give that advice and the information to maybe help others?
Yeah, I think the podcast was just a great outlet for us to give updates. People are wondering, people are curious. So that was a great avenue for us, and it's effective. I don't mind being honest about what's going on, and I think that may help some people understand when they're going through the same situation. But the one thing that I worry the most about, and I think I said on the podcast, is I don't like people to make assumptions, of where I'm at and how I'm doing and what I'm up to. So it's best for my peace of mind, to give me peace of mind and to bring down any kind of stress and anxiety through the process, is to just open up and be honest about what's going on and how we're doing. So that's what we've done. It's just a coincidence, a fortunate situation to have the podcast and have that avenue. So we'll probably continue to use that.
All right, over to Nate, Lee, and then we'll go to Dustin from Front Stretch.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. Dale, one quick follow-up first on something you said. You said you hope to be symptom-free for the next visit and then have a timeline develop. Can they not set a timeline until you're symptom-free? Is that sort of?
Yeah, because you don't know when they're going to quit. I just don't know when the symptoms will stop. So we do. I go every day. I'm doing these exercises to sort of retrain the brain to fix the issues that I have with the balance and the gaze stability, and it'll fix itself when it decides to. There's no common history that'll tell you, man, this is going to last a month, or this might last, because you just I've had I've had situations that, and I've talked to people with other history that didn't last this long, and so that's why it's frustrating. My past history didn't take this long, and cleared up, and you could see the progress, feel the progress every day, and so it's a little bit different. The symptoms I'm having this time are different, but not uncommon, and so my doctor's really positive, and I feed off of that. I talk to him every other day, like I said, for him to keep reinforcing that positive energy, and so I can get in there and believe in the rehabilitation and the work I'm doing, because it's really tough for me to get in there and do it. I just don't want to do it, but I know I have to. But yeah, I just don't know when this is going to stop and when things are going to fix themselves, and so that's why it has to be from one evaluation to the next, and that's the best I can do for everybody.
Can you be back in the car as soon as you're symptom free? Is that the expectation? Or
I don't know what the doctor would choose there, whether he would want you maybe to go, whether you could be symptom free and go immediately back into the car, or whether they would want you to maybe be symptom free for a week, for 2 weeks. I don't know what he will do. We haven't really talked about that. I personally would like to get into a race car and drive it at a closed course somewhere, whether that's one of my late models or whether NASCAR will lift the restrictions on the testing policy to go to Gresham or somewhere. I want to get in a car and run for a day. I think I should do that. That'd be the smartest thing to do before I actually tried to accomplish an entire race weekend.
All right, we'll go to Lee and Dustin, and then over Skippy.
LeeSpencerMotorsport.com. Can you talk a little bit about how frustrating the anxiety side of this has been? Because, you know, before you were with Steve Letarte, you spent a lot of time alone, or, you know, I guess away from the masses. And so to have to thrust yourself into something that might not be comfortable, that's the first part of my question. The second is just the outpouring support of the fans. I mean, we see it on Twitter, and I think it's a pretty good indication of what you know, your support has been, and just how that has kind of helped you through this process.
Yeah, I'd love to speak on the support. It's been awesome. All the NASCAR fans are supportive of all the drivers when they find themselves in situations that are challenging. It's been no different. So that's gave me a lot of that's helped me a lot, and gave me a lot of motivation to get back and get back in the car, and to know the fans. You know, even hearing from not only the fans but the other drivers, my peers, it's such a positive motivation. So the more of that I see, the better. I think it helps me keep going and keep working hard and take my therapy seriously. So as far as the anxiety and stuff, it's with 2012, it was just about resting and not doing anything that would drive the symptoms, really letting your mind and your head rest to heal. You know, for whatever reason, my doctor wants to push me into situations that drive the symptoms, and that's basically going somewhere that I'm not familiar with, or being in busy places. Anytime we, you know, going out to eat or going to lunch, coming here, this is probably, my doctor calls that exposure. This is probably the worst situation as far as making my symptoms go haywire. But that's what he wants, is for he wants me to do anything, whether it's going places and pushing myself to get into areas that give me anxiety and drive the symptoms. Do all the rehab and the rehabilitation I do drives the symptoms. They want me to push the symptoms so my body sort of gets used to them and they become suppressed, and then it's no longer an issue. I kind of had the same thing with the old concussion. It would drive, I could go places, the anxiety was bad and it would drive the symptoms too, but that's just part of the process. That's a common occurrence with situations like this, and you don't want to go anywhere where you're going to feel worse. But in this situation, my doctor tells me that that's good therapy, to go somewhere that makes you feel worse. Go in there and get exposure, and then get out and go somewhere where you can kind of get calm back down, and then repeat the process. And so I've been going and eating and having lunch with my family, or I go to Kelly's house and get into the living room with her kids. Lord, that drives up the symptoms pretty good. And but it's been great to spend time with them. It's it's unusual the time that I've been able to spend with them since we're not racing, but there's 6 types of concussions as far as what part of the body they really affect. mainly I've got ocular and balance issues, but that also, they all are connected, and so you can have an injury to the ocular or the balance, and it'll affect the emotion, and it all sort of is tied together. So if you injure one part of your brain, all of them get deficient in some way, shape, or form. So you have all these other symptoms, you know, and you just really got to corral and fix that one area, and it stops affecting the rest of it. So we're working on it.
Dustin Albino, Front Stretch. Dale, you've been a big advocate for people with concussions in the sports world. Do you have any advice for other drivers who might have the same symptoms that, you know, are afraid to stand up to it?
Yeah, it's really hard as a driver to say that you've got a problem, and it's hard to tell someone what to do in that situation. But you know, if you're not feeling good, and you know, for me, I was sort of scared straight into, you know, getting checked out when I got hurt in 2012. It was so severe, and my body changed and my mind changed so much. I just had to get it looked at. I couldn't go every day trying to manage my issues. And I just feel like that hopefully, you know, anytime anybody gets dinged up or realizes that they're just not right, or they're foggy, or whatever their symptoms are, that they would reach out to a neurologist and get checked out. And there's access, easy access with our sport. We've got a lot of great people that are part of the sport and been part of the sport a long time that handle those issues and can get you to the right people. It's hard because you basically you put yourself out there to be pulled out of the car, but man, your quality of life is so important. Your health beyond your driving career is so important. If you plan on having a family or have a family already, you're going to be, you know, those things are going to be a priority. So there's so many reasons to do the right thing and go ahead and get the help you need, and you know, get back in the car when you're healthy. So I learned a lot through this experience in the last 3 or 4 years, and feel like that, you know, it's just it's a hard decision to make, and I feel like that, you know, it would be even harder the younger you are and the situation you're in when you're trying to get a career going and just trying to make a living driving cars. It'd be even tougher. Being in the situation I'm in now, having ran for so long, maybe it wasn't as challenging or a harder decision to make the right choice. But man, if I was 21 and just getting started or very young, it'd be so hard to make that decision. So I can definitely understand the point of view from the drivers.
Chris Knight, catchfans.com. Dale, outside of NASCAR, has there been any other athletes, professional athletes, that have reached out to you to talk about concussions? And do you feel like that maybe you open a door for other sports to maybe look at concussions more seriously for other athletes?
Yeah, I don't know. I just know I'm trying to take care of myself. I've talked to a lot of drivers. I've talked to a lot of people. You know, you get in this situation, and a lot of people reach out, and a lot of people have their own experiences that they want to share. And when you're going through that, you definitely you want to share your experience with people who had a common experience as well. It's so frustrating trying to explain your symptoms to somebody who's never had a concussion, and it's so frustrating trying to explain to somebody what just the regular, you know, day-to-day, you know, life is like when you've got these symptoms, and no one can see it. You can't scan and see it, and doctors can't see it. They really rely on the patient to be honest and upfront. But so when you can talk to someone who's been through it, it's a great experience, and it helps both of you, to be honest with you. So there's been a lot of that, and I really appreciate those calls and relationships that I have with those guys.
All right, we'll go to Holly, to Brant James, then over to David Scott.
Holly Kane, NASCAR.com. Dale, is it amazing to you at all how far we've advanced medically, that the doctors can tell you what this was? Because there were many decades of driving where this sort of thing might have happened and we didn't necessarily know and weren't able to take the precautions and heal as you've been given the opportunity. Could you just speak to that?
Yeah, I think about that. I'm so thankful that there's knowledge and there's rehab and rehabilitation that's specific to what I have going on. There's just not this umbrella of treatment that they sort of give to everybody. They have specific ways to help and heal specific types of concussions and certain symptoms. And so every time that's why I think I enjoy talking to my doctor so often and going to see him so often, is because you have so many questions. Every day you get a new concern or a new question, and you really can't wait to get in the room and be able to talk to him about it. And for them to have the knowledge they have today versus where we were 10 or 20 years ago is something I'm very thankful for, and I feel very fortunate. When I go to see my doctor, he'll put me in front of 4 or 5 different specialists that handle a lot of different things as far as my rehabilitation and medication and so forth. So there's so much to grab onto, and there's so much to learn and so much positive things to take back from the evaluations when you're able to get in front of all those people and hear all the specific things that are happening to you and what you need to do and why it's happening and how you can help it. We didn't know all that stuff before, and there's still a lot to be learned, and I like to be in the middle of the, I like to see my doctor, and I like to get in there and learn as much as I can and try to understand the progress we're making and the what to expect. Still a lot to be learned though. But yeah, there's been so many advances, and I feel so fortunate to have the treatment and the access to the treatment that I have.
All right, we'll go to Brant and then to David Scott, and we'll wrap it up before practice with Nate Ryan of NBC Sports.
Brant James, USA Today Sports. Dale, in talking to your doctors, has it always been when you're healthy and safe to get back in, or have they at any point introduced an element of if? I mean, and it sounds like it's been very positive, but
Yeah.
in any way have they said that? Maybe
Yeah,
not?
no, that's not the conversation your doctor is going to have with you when he's trying to get you right. You're just worrying about getting normal. You go in there and you see your doctor, and all you and him talk about, and all he cares about is fixing you. He doesn't care about whether my racing or whatever I do as a profession. He's just trying to fix what's wrong with me. That's his job. And he's not a counselor or a psychologist, what's the word? Psychologist. That's not his profession. So, he's just telling me, do this treatment. This is, take these medications, do this every day, and I promise you we're going to get you right. So and that's not the conversation you're going to have in the middle of treatment, with someone who's suffering or someone who's going through that process. So, and the conversations that I've had with him is that he believes we're going to fix it. He believes that he can make me stronger, and that I will be able to pick up where I left off.
David Scott from the Charlotte Observer. Dale, how long are you here for? And given this is going to be one of those stressful situations that you talk about, is there a point, a threshold that you reach that you say, okay, I got to back out now? And will you get involved with talking to Jeff or Greg about the race competition, that kind of stuff, or kind of?
I doubt I will get too in depth with that. I've just wanted to come and see everybody. I got to go see my guys. They would be really upset if I didn't. I'm really happy to see all you guys, and just whoever I run into on the way from A to B. I just had it's been so weird not to be at the track, and not to you don't really realize how many relationships and friendships you have and how much you appreciate them until you're not able to have access to it. And so just to be able to come to the track was something I was excited about, and look forward to. I'm gonna go into the garage with to the hauler, and I'll stick around until after practice is over and things kind of calm down, so I can see my guys when they're not working, and then I'm probably gonna go back home.
Dale, on your right again. Realizing this is probably something you haven't thought of, because obviously your doctors are optimistic about the prognosis here, but you have a very fervent, passionate fan base, and I've myself, and I think others in this room have heard this. Like, you've got 26 wins, 2 Daytona 500 victories. You've had a great career. If it came to that, I mean, would you consider? I mean, have you thought about it from that perspective, I guess? I mean, with the uncertainty of how multiple concussions can impact your health, knowing everything you've done, I mean, is that something you've weighed at all?
What? You didn't say the word. You know, when I went to see Dr. Petty for the first time in 2012, and then he set me up with the guys in Pittsburgh. They told me that our process was to get better and go back to racing. This one is no different. When I first went to see my doctor in this particular instance, it was, I need to get right, because I need to get back in the car as soon as I can. I'm surprised that I've missed this many races. I never thought this would take this long. I didn't think that, I didn't have a massive accident, and I didn't have really crazy symptoms. This thing happened so awkward where, we had the accident in Michigan, and then the symptoms crept in very slowly, like 2 weeks later. And so I didn't think that this was that serious, but it had gotten to a point to where I definitely didn't need to, be in the race car. And so, at that point, you got to go get checked out and get a hold of it and figure out how to fix it. But, from the very onset of this, it was, man, this will go away in a couple weeks. I'm going to miss a race or two, and we'll get back in the car and we'll get going again. I don't know, I'm thinking, I'm thinking about, well, it's going to put more pressure on me to win a race, to get in a chase and all that stuff. So, I have every intention of honoring my current contract. I sat with Rick before this happened a couple months ago to talk about an extension, and that's the direction that we are going. And that's, as soon as I can get healthy and get confident in how I feel and feel like that I can drive a car and be great driving it, then I want to drive. I want to race. I miss the competition. I miss being here. I miss the people. And, as Rick likes to say, we got unfinished business. But I'm not ready to stop racing. I'm not, I wasn't ready to, not ready to quit. So I just, it's a slower process. I wish it wasn't. I don't know how long it's going to take. And, as impatient as I am, I worry about everyone else's patience as well. But I'm not going to go in the car until the doctors clear me. The doctors won't let me race. This is not my decision. But it's the right decision, and I trust what my doctors are telling me. And when they say I'm good to go, I believe them. And if they say I'm healthy and I can race, I'm going to race.